Hey, Emily, write me a song.
Here's something for this moment. I think it suits this video nicely.
This video is a stream of consciousness.
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 This video is a
This
stream
video
of
is a
consciousness.
stream of consciousness.
This video is a stream of consciousness. There isn't a great way to describe love. There isn't even really a good way to describe it either. Sometimes it feels like a psychological construct set in place to keep from going insane, while other times it is the very reason for going insane. It is the most relatable emotion we all can feel, what ties our passions together and rips our hearts apart. Love is powerful because it has stakes. You are devoting your all, your everything, your life force towards someone or something else, something that can end up being absent in the future. All of that dedication can disappear, and it's one of the hardest things someone can experience. Like children trying to comprehend a candy shop, I feel like humans were never made to be capable of understanding love, nor its consequences. We find every way to express it and try to make others understand it, what we are feeling, but in the end, it is a faint glimmer of what love really is. As I sit here typing this on a brightly lit computer screen with a cursor blinking back at me, I am in awe with how Spike Jonze achieved the expression of love in his film Her. And as much as you may understand how genius this film is, I believe its humanity lies within its social and psychologically complex soundtrack. Have you ever been on a walk listening to music before? I don't care if it was from class to class or climbing a mountain. Have you ever had a soundtrack running in your ears while you live your life? There's no phone screen to stare at, no conversation to be had, just you and the world with a musical background that somehow perfectly captures what it means to live. I think about those moments a lot. How I can find fascination with leaves falling from a tree or clouds rolling across the sky. It's so bizarre, but it feels like music allows me to be present again, to be a part of this world that I have been absent from and been far too busy for. Now, imagine how it felt to share that musical moment with someone else, or on the contrary, wishing you had someone to share it with. While I'm watching those leaves twirl to the ground or that summer sunset falling behind the mountains, a thought stumbles its way across my stream of consciousness that I want someone to feel and see exactly what I am seeing right now. I don't want them to know by me telling them a story or an hour later or playing the song for them the next day. I want that person to feel the inner peace that comes along with these musical moments of life. It feels nice, and sometimes I feel like it's an emotion that I can't explain to others. It was meant to be that my little musically therapeutic world would be bottled up inside my head by the laws of the universe. Well, that thought process was what I believed up until about 20 minutes ago. The character dynamic between Theodore and Samantha is one of the most captivating cinema relationships I have ever seen. What makes it even more impressive is the absence of a physical body for one of them. In case you haven't seen this film, Her is about a recently divorced man falling in love with an AI utility. And to just address the obvious, yes, I am thinking a lot about how this film applies to our present day. One of the core pieces of our humanity as a species is found in our relationships with one another. To make that artificially intelligent feels like it's questioning a realm we can't even begin to understand. But I digress. What makes this incredible relationship work on screen extends far beyond just the incredible actors portraying their characters. The world building this film achieves is extraordinary, making me truly feel like I am living the life of Theodore in a futuristic LA smogscape. Every piece of dialogue in this film perfectly encapsulates what it feels when emotions become too much for words to handle, and how we stumble over ourselves while our minds desperately try to catch up. The editing of this film represents that stream of consciousness I mentioned earlier, that feeling when our mind is recalling all the great moments of a relationship while it crashes and burns before our eyes. So many times in this film I kept finding myself relating to Theodore, wanting to play the good moments over the bad and stay in those memories to avoid what was happening in the present. The cinematography is a key part of this dynamic as well, and paints the colors of a world that makes me feel isolated and wondering. There are plenty more video essays talking about all these great things this film has done, and I highly encourage you to go watch those essays for yourself. And although there are a multitude of cinematic effects that achieve this wonderfully relatable relationship on screen, it wouldn't be possible without the music that is generated within the story. Literally. The film itself doesn't necessarily have an overarching score, so there isn't just one name to attribute to her. Up on screen is a collection of the artists that captured the exact feeling I'm talking about, the people who somehow found the gift of life in a couple notes thrown together. The sound of a soft piano in the background, a ukulele arpeggiating over and over, the low hum of a dystopian turmoil. These musical pieces form a collage similar to the color palette of the film, shades of soft colors that make me feel incredibly introspective. I love the feeling. It just makes my heart feel so full and my mind so calm. One of the coolest concepts this movie tackles, albeit rather somber considering it takes the humanity out of music, is how music is made up by an algorithm on the spot in the film. Multiple times in the story, Samantha writes a piano song for the exact moment she is experiencing with Theodore, a talent that is almost impossible to achieve unless you're carrying a piano around. Even if it seems unnatural, it still is so beautiful. I want to be able to write some beautiful piano melody while watching the sunset, but the limitations of our musical expression hinder us from achieving that goal sometimes. So when you eliminate that barrier, something that film scores already kind of capture, it creates this beautiful outlook on life where it can be anything you want it to be. Samantha is creating emotions words can't describe in the moment, showing Theodore the beauty of the world around them. As the two fall in love with one another, the music seems to capture all those little nuances that just can't be described in words. All those relatable moments that made me feel so much like I was part of this story. One of the biggest reasons I fell in love with cinema was because sometimes all it has to do is show you what it wants you to feel rather than telling you. It's a cinematic skill that, when used properly, can enhance any emotion you're dealing with. When I saw Theodore smile awkwardly with beautiful piano music playing in the background, I knew exactly how he felt, and thus, how I felt. Sometimes the best part about movies is they help us process the emotions we didn't even know we had. I wish I viewed this years ago when I experienced heartbreak in its most raw form. But what this film does so well is showing you subtly how this isn't necessarily a relationship dynamic that should feel so right. It forces you to ask the question, is it normal for me to have this capability? As the end credits of the film rolled in front of my eyes, there was one scene that I couldn't stop thinking about. The beach scene. It's a great example of what I just discussed, how Samantha is writing a piano song about the beach while Theodore just lives in the moment. The cinematography just showed so much presence in this scene and truly explored how Theodore was starting to have a love for life again. The way the camera angles changed and swayed to show his perspective glancing across the waves, intelligibly conveying to us what it means to live in the moment. It is just such a beautiful scene, but something still felt slightly off. Nobody was interacting with Theodore outside of Samantha. While other people in the background talked to one another as friends, Theodore was isolated within his own mind. As children played in the water and the sun beat down on the hot sand, my mind started drifting from being in the beautiful moment created here to just feeling kind of awkward. And I just kept going back and forth between this feeling that felt so right and this feeling that felt so wrong. This world wasn't real. It was one that Samantha was literally serenading Theodore with. I just talked about how much I wanted someone to experience these musical motifs of my life at the moment. That incredible feeling of freedom that music adds to life that feels so personal is one that I wish so badly others could feel with me. But after watching this movie, I'm not actually sure I want that reality. It has its perks, don't get me wrong, but is it really natural and special if it always has to be shared with someone else? To clarify, I'm not so much talking about the song itself being shared, as much as I'm talking about the emotional power it holds within you. At the end of the day, people are going to experience music in slightly different ways that pertain to their own psychological reasoning. So, to force someone into your own, is that a good thing at all? The more I think about it, those moments become less special when you are sharing that powerful emotion in its direct form. Music was always meant to be experienced together, but the emotions are meant to be individualistic. If I were showing you my piano piece on the beach and writing it on the fly for you and making you feel the exact emotion I was feeling while performing, is that really art anymore? I feel like art is rooted in subjectivity. It is meant to have differing experiences and opinions. When we see a symphony together, sure, we may get goosebumps at the same part in the piece, but did we get them for the same reason? To force someone into your emotional mindset would be like putting their heart in a cage. It doesn't feel right, and it feels artificial.
Hello, I'm here.
Oh.
It's getting late. I should probably stop typing this essay and just fall asleep to be productive tomorrow, but I can't help but fear that by the time I wake up again, these thoughts about love and existential music making will just disappear. Her completely broke me. The musical masterpiece this film represents is one that is going to be overlooked, and there are so many scenes that apply to this philosophy I'm discussing. I can't stop thinking about the montages of Theodore and Samantha falling deeper into love, whether it be in his head pressed up against the glass, or talking to himself in a cabin in a snow-covered forest. I feel the chords still resonating throughout me. I feel the sun beating down on my face and the snow sliding down my cheek. I can feel the air conditioning in Theodore's workplace and the texture of his published letters. This film wasn't supposed to show me everything that a relationship is through musical moments that feel like they were fleeting. Of course, there isn't a good way to describe what it means to love. How the hell am I supposed to comprehend an emotion that feels like it transcends space and time, and yet somehow write an essay about it in the middle of the night? How the hell do I make someone feel my fascination with the sun beaming down through dead tree branches while acoustic guitar flows through my eardrums? How the hell do I make you understand that this film and its music is something that I have never experienced before, and it makes me long to be human? Well, literally being human. Love is real, and it hurts us in so many different ways. Love is real, and it loves us in so many ways. I have so much love in my life, but God, why can't I put into words how this feels? I can't even wish for someone else to experience this exact same emotion because the fundamentals of its psychological presence will be different. I feel like I'm just going insane.
This video is a stream of consciousness.
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 This video is a stream of
This video is a stream of consciousness.
This video is a stream of consciousness.
This video is a stream of consciousness. Hey, Emily, write me a song.
Here's something for this moment. I think it suits this video nicely.